At number 8, Phoebe Dynevor. Remember Bridgerton? That show had us pretty enamored when it was first released. The love story that unfolded had a lot of us wishing for that kind of fairy tale romance, but it seems as though one of the show's actresses had a real life romance of her own, even if it was relatively short-lived. Actress Phoebe Dynevor, who played Daphne Bridgerton on the Netflix series, was reportedly in a relationship with Pete Davidson earlier this year, though it has since ended. Rumors of their budding romance started swirling in March of this year after Pete flew from the US to the UK to go spend time with her. For a while, their relationship was labeled as quote, not too serious, but it was also suggested that there were still some strong feelings there because of how Pete was following Phoebe to different locations around the UK as she was filming. By mid-April, Pete seemed to have confirmed that he and Phoebe were an item during a Zoom call with students from Marquette University when he was asked who his celebrity crush was, and he responded saying quote, I'm with my celebrity crush, that's all I can speak on. End quote. Things didn't really last much longer between Pete and Phoebe though, as sources confirmed that the pair had broken up in August, and it's been said that the long distance is what ended things. At number 7, Carly Aquilino. Up next, we have a little short-lived relationship from a few years back that you might not have known about. Two comedians in a relationship sounds like a hoot and a half, but in this case, things just didn't work out in the end. Carly Aquilino, known for being a cast member on Girl Code, dated Pete Davidson for almost a year back in 2015. There's not much to say about their relationship other than the fact that they were together. Not much information about their relationship is out there, but we do know that Pete seemed to have left a lasting impression on Carly because she did sort of comment on Pete's engagement to Ariana Grande when she posted a screenshot of a text message of someone reaching out to her after the engagement was announced. It isn't known why they broke up, they just did, but I'm sure that it isn't easy to see your ex engaged to someone else, right? Yeah. Before we continue talking about Pete Davidson's celebrity hookups and relationships, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel as well to see more videos like this one. At number 6, Kaia Jordan Gerber. Back in 2019, Pete Davidson was seen getting pretty close to Cindy Crawford's daughter, Kaia Gerber. They were linked to each other in October of that year as they were seen grabbing dinner together, and Kaia was spotted wearing a necklace with the letter P charm on it. The pair also went on a romantic getaway in Miami together as well. But even though things looked good in the beginning, apparently not everyone approved of their relationship, especially Kaia's parents. According to sources, Kaia's parents hoped that her relationship with Pete would just fizzle out, and that's exactly what ended up happening. In January 2020, reports came out saying that the couple had split up, and this came about around the time that Pete was dealing with his mental health and checked into rehab. The following month, Pete officially confirmed that he and Kaia were no longer together, saying quote, she's very young and I'm going through a lot, and it was before I went to rehab. It just wasn't the right place or the right time at all. End quote. At number 5, Margaret Qualley. One of Pete's shorter relationships was that with actress Margaret Qualley. The two first started dating back in August of 2019, but they only lasted about 2 months together. Pete was seen in Venice with her that year, supporting Margaret as she promoted her film Seberg, which was screened at the Venice Film Festival. When they were spotted together in Italy, many people said that they looked to be really in love. One source commented on seeing the couple out in public saying quote, Pete and Margaret were standing and chatting and laughing. There wasn't much PDA, but he was in a good mood and the two of them were joking around. End quote. Now, things weren't really that serious between Margaret and Pete, and by the time fall came around, they had called it quits. They broke up in October of that year, but just a month prior, the actress's mom commented on her daughter's relationship with the comedian, saying quote, she has a beautiful relationship with him, but I don't want to step on her relationship too much. They have a nice relationship. End quote. This was really more of a summer fling than anything else, and shortly after these two ended their relationship, Pete was spotted with Kaia Gerber, whom I just told you guys about. Their relationship did end on good terms, and they just stayed friends after that. At number 4, Ariana Grande. Now everyone knows about this relationship, so I'm sure you already know the details, but we can't forget about Pete's whirlwind relationship with Ariana Grande. These two really came in hot but burned out just as quickly. Pete and Ariana revealed that they were dating in May of 2018, just after he got out of a relationship with Cassie David, whom I will tell you guys about after. after. Just a few weeks after getting together, Pete popped the question and the two got engaged in June of 2018. This move shocked everyone because of how soon it was, but they were crazy about each other, so who was going to stop them, right? Sadly though, things weren't meant to work out and this intense relationship fizzled out and the couple broke up in October of 2018. After that, there was a bit of drama, tattoos were covered up, Thank You Next came out and it mentioned Ariana's relationship with Pete, and Pete mentioned all of that in one of his comedy performances. They've both moved on from the situation, clearly, but I feel like a lot of people saw this ending coming because of how intense everything was in the beginning. Sometimes you just need a fling in your life, and that's okay. When you love someone hard, it can be very overwhelming. At number 3, Cassie David. Pete Davidson's relationship with Cassie David, the daughter of comedian Larry David, was Pete's first high-profile long-term relationship. Cassie and Pete started seeing each other in May of 2016, and they went through a lot together. As any couple does, they shared their struggles, but eventually it got to the point where they just couldn't carry on in a healthy relationship, and so they broke up in May of 2018. In 2020, Cassie published a collection of essays titled No One Asked for This, where she opened up about her breakup with Pete, recalling the struggles that both of them had with their mental health during their relationship, and she also exposed the fact that she and Pete broke up the day before finding out that Pete and Ariana were together. The end of Cassie and Pete's relationship was pretty painful, as you could no doubt imagine, coming out of a 2-year-long relationship, but according to sources, they are friends now and that works for them. At number 2, Kate Beckinsale. What is your stance on rebounds after a relationship? Some people are for it, others are against it. Clearly, Pete Davidson isn't opposed to a rebound because shortly after calling it quits with Ariana Grande, Pete found himself in a fling with actress Kate Beckinsale. Not that there's anything wrong with a rebound, I mean, to each their own, do what you gotta do, but a lot of people had something to say about this short-lived romance between Kate and Pete. First of all, there was the timing. Many of Ariana's fans were pretty upset to see that Pete had moved on from Ariana so quickly. Pete and Kate were seen getting pretty close together in January 2019 when they were seen flirting at a Golden Globes after-party. It was all speculation until they confirmed it a few weeks later when they were seen making out at a Rangers game. Sources said that this PDA was meant as an FU to Ariana. Now, on top of the fact that Kate and Pete got together so quickly after Ariana and Pete split, people also commented on their age difference. Kate and Pete had a 20-year age gap and he was apparently only 3 years older than Kate's daughter. Either way, things didn't work out between them, and by the time April rolled around, the couple had called it quits. Explaining the breakup, one source said, quote, "Even though Kate has been in Hollywood for a long time, she struggled with the attention on her relationship with Pete. He lives his life with his heart on his sleeve." End quote. And finally, at number 1, Kim Kardashian. Now this one is the newest fling on Pete's roster. The comedian has been seen getting pretty close with Kim Kardashian, and people are wondering what's really going on here. The two sparked dating rumors back in October of this year after photos surfaced of Pete and Kim holding hands on a roller coaster, leading people to speculate that there's some kind of spark between them. A source close to them said that they are just friends and that they're just having fun together, but fans are still digging and looking for any evidence to support the theory that these two are an item. Just recently, it was reported that Pete had arranged for a private dinner with Kim on Staten Island, and they also have been spotted together in New York City, where Pete currently lives. Everything surrounding their suspected relationship happened after Kim guest hosted SNL and kissed Pete in a skit, so maybe they just bonded over that, or maybe there's something more.
And at number 10, Joe Jonas. Joe Jonas was the first celebrity Taylor dated after she became a mainstream star. They dated from July to October of 2008, and it was highly publicized. In the end, their relationship didn't last too long, but their relationship was really what stuck with fans. After they broke up, Taylor went on The Ellen Show and told the world that Joe broke up with her on a 27-second phone call. I'm honestly still wondering how that's even possible. Then Taylor wrote songs Last Kiss and Forever and Always about him too. Then Joe moved on to actress Camila Belle, and Taylor wrote the song Better Than Revenge, which includes lyrics aimed at Camila like, "She's an actress but she's better known for the things she does on the mattress." Joe actually commented on Taylor's music surrounding their split, and he wanted the world to know that he did not cheat on Taylor like she may have implied in the songs. And at number 9, Lucas Till. Taylor and Lucas Till started dating after he starred in her music video called You Belong With Me. But their young love did not last. They dated for only 1 month in 2009, but it still got a ton of press. When asked why it didn't work for them, Lucas explained that there was not enough friction in the relationship for it to last. He added, quote, "We just really both liked each other, but most relationships work out because you get along, then you don't, then you make up and it's passionate. And with us, I just really liked her as a friend." And at number 8, Taylor Lautner. This relationship was another that did not last for too long, but it did create one of the strangest couple names in history, Taylor Squared. They were together from August to December of 2009, and they met on the set of the movie Valentine's Day, where they acted alongside each other. The pair played love interests, which clearly got sparks flying. A source revealed that after a few months of dating, they both realized that they weren't compatible for the long term. The sad song Back to December off Taylor's Speak Now album is reportedly about Lautner. In the song, she sings about regret for the way that things ended. And at number 7, John Mayer. This was probably Taylor's first serious relationship, and although it didn't last for all that long, it led to the creation of the hit song Dear John. They dated from December of 2009 to February of 2010, and there was a 12-year age difference between them. They first started dating after they collaborated on the song Half of My Heart, but things went rocky pretty quickly, which is evident by the lyrics in the song. One line went, quote, "Dear John, I see it all now it was wrong. Don't you think 19 is too young to be played by your dark twisted games, when I loved you so?" But John Mayer actually clapped back at the way that he was portrayed in her music. He told Rolling Stone in 2012, quote, "It made me feel terrible because I didn't deserve it. I'm pretty good at taking accountability now, and I never did anything to deserve that. It was a really lousy thing for her to do." And at number 6, Jake Gyllenhaal. After the release of the 10-minute version of All Too Well, I think we all know there's crazy tension between Taylor and Jake Gyllenhaal. These two had a hot and heavy romance between October of 2010 and January of 2011. The pair also had an age gap of 9 years, which has raised some eyebrows. The romance was so intense that apparently Jake paid $160,000 just so he could fly her out on a private jet for a date. But then they split, and she poured her heart out on the album Red, more specifically in the song All Too Well, when she gave details about their romance and the tension that led to their split. Some fans questioned how they could have had such a whirlwind romance if they only dated for a few months. But it's been widely rumored that Taylor actually lost her virginity to Jake, so that's why the relationship was filled with so many highs then lows when they split. Halfway number 5, Connor Kennedy. Taylor and Connor Kennedy had an intense summer fling in 2012 that started from July to October. They were first spotted together sharing a lunch in Mount Kisco, New York. Then throughout the rest of the summer, they were caught by paparazzi in tons of couple-y photos. It looked pretty serious at one point. Taylor even bought a $5 million house by his in Cape Cod. But apparently that was one of the things that started their downfall. One of Connor's close friends claimed, quote, "Connor liked Taylor, don't get me wrong, but this business of her buying a house on the Cape made him nervous." Although at this point things were still pretty good between them. But then a feud broke out. Apparently Connor's family accused Taylor of crashing one of their family weddings and making things very awkward for the couple getting married. Her reps denied the tension, but clearly things were on the rocks at that point because they broke up shortly after. And number 4, Harry Styles. This is probably Taylor's shortest relationship, but it was so passionate she basically wrote an entire album because of it. The pair dated from December of 2012 to January of 2013, and they were caught by paparazzi a few times out and about. But then almost as fast as it started, it was over. One source said they got into a huge fight while on vacation, and it led to Taylor leaving the vacation and Harry staying behind to let off some steam. Then she wrote the hit song I Knew You Were Trouble because of Harry, along with the album 1989, which includes many more songs believed to be about Harry, most notably the song Style, which is basically named after him. Although the pair are apparently on good terms now. And at number 3, Calvin Harris. This relationship was easily the most scandalous. After this pair broke up, they actually got into a public feud. The couple dated from March of 2015 to June of 2016 and were introduced by their mutual friend Ellie Goulding. The relationship looked very positive and lasted over a year, but they broke up shortly after their 1-year anniversary. Their split seemed to be amicable at first, but then Taylor was seen kissing Tom Hiddleston only 2 weeks after the split. Apparently Harris felt blindsided and took his anger out on Twitter. Harris tweeted that Taylor's team was trying to make him look bad when she exposed that she co-wrote the song This Is What You Came For Calvin Harris and Rihanna. Then he tweeted that Taylor was trying to, quote, bury him like Katy, alluding towards Taylor's feud with Katy Perry. He eventually opened up about his social media rant, saying that he, quote, just snapped. And at number 2, Tom Hiddleston. These two started their relationship almost immediately after Taylor split with Calvin Harris. They dated from June to September of 2016. The pair even made their relationship official in the public's eye when they attended the 2016 Met Gala together, which was a huge step for Taylor, although rumors of cheating swirled around the couple, considering they started dating so soon after her and Calvin Harris split up. Their whirlwind PDA-filled romance took them all over the globe, with stops in Italy, Tennessee, Rhode Island, New York City, Australia, and England. But of course, their summer romance would end pretty quickly. A source revealed that apparently Tom wanted their relationship to be even more public, while Taylor wanted to keep it more low-key. Tom later addressed that the relationship was all for show in a GQ interview, where he said, quote, "Of course it was real. Taylor is an amazing woman. She's generous and kind and lovely, and we had the best time." And finally, number 1, Joe Alwyn. Taylor's current relationship is her longest, and many think this is the man that Taylor is going to marry. We're not sure when exactly Joe and Taylor started dating, because she went pretty much radio silent on social media after her split with Tom, but many think they got together near the end of 2016. At this time, Taylor was caught in a public feud with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, but other than that she was nowhere to be seen, online or out in the world by paparazzi. But even though she was laying low, her dating life was in full swing. News broke in May of 2017 that Taylor was dating English actor Joe Alwyn, and they'd been seeing each other for months. And it's clear that things are very serious. Joe was briefly in Taylor's documentary Miss Americana, where she spoke of how he helps her with her writing. Then during her Grammy acceptance speech said, quote, "To Joe, who's the first person that I play every single song that I write, and I had the best time writing songs with you in quarantine. Based on some song lyrics, fans have even speculated the two might be engaged, but neither person has confirmed it." A source said about the couple, quote, "They've been continuing to be pretty low-key about their relationship to the outside world to continue to protect it. They've discussed future plans, and Taylor can see herself marrying Joe one day."
At number 10, Rihanna and Travis Scott. Here's a celeb hookup that might surprise you because it certainly surprised me when I found out. Rihanna and Travis Scott reportedly dated back in 2015, though their relationship story is a little foggy and confusing since they never wanted anyone to find out about it in the first place. Everything was super hush-hush, so don't tell anybody I told you this. Basically, their friends with benefits / actual relationship took place about 6 years or so ago, and neither of them outright confirmed their relationship. When Travis was asked about Rihanna in an interview, he described her as being his muse and seemed to have had very passionate feelings for her, though he never chose to make these things public. He actually got incredibly upset when a magazine published details about him and Rihanna because they were told not to release those details, but they went against his wishes and they did it anyway. You'd think that with that sort of reaction, it was Travis who wanted to keep his fling on the DL, but it was actually Rihanna who wanted everything to be a secret because apparently she was embarrassed to be with him. The details as to who was the one who broke things off in the end remained a mystery, but we do know that things ended in 2016 shortly before Travis was linked to Kylie Jenner. At number 9, Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. Looks like this celebrity fling was as juicy as it was on screen. After keeping this little hookup a secret for quite some time, Shia LaBeouf finally spilled the beans, so to speak, after revealing that he had a little romance with his Transformers co-star Megan Fox back in the day. In 2011, Shia revealed in an interview that he had a brief entanglement with the actress, saying that being on set and portraying two people in love caused their personal lives and work lives to become a little blurred. Shia was said to have been very protective of Megan while they were together, even having an outburst in a convenience store and hopping behind the counter to have a physical confrontation with an employee who was allegedly rude to Megan. To make things even juicier, this romance was apparently going on during the time that Megan and Brian Austin Green were allegedly engaged, so this was quite the entanglement. Years later, Megan said that she was in love with Shia at the time, confirming their brief fling. At number 8, Michael Cera and Aubrey Plaza. If you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, then you're familiar with how the character Julie Powers isn't too fond of Scott Pilgrim. Well, it might come as a surprise to you to find out that the actors who portrayed Julie and Scott in the 2010 film are very different from their counterparts on screen in the sense that they certainly don't hate each other, and they actually dated for some time around the release of the movie. Michael Cera and Aubrey Plaza met on the set of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and they ended up dating for about a year and a half. Things were pretty serious between them as they almost got married too. When Aubrey was a guest star on RuPaul's Drag Race back in 2016, she told Ru about her relationship with Michael, saying, quote, "We drove across the country after we shot that movie and almost got married in Vegas." Aubrey also opened up saying that she and Michael remain on good terms even though their romantic relationship didn't exactly work out. Their relationship remained pretty secret until after things were over between them, so we didn't really get to live through the Scott and Julie shipping like we would have liked to, but hey, they come and they go. At number 7, Janet Jackson and Matthew McConaughey. Alright, we've got another surprising celebrity hookup, this one including the man, the myth, the legend, Matthew McConaughey, and the amazing queen herself, Janet Jackson. Now, I had no idea that these two used to be an item, but it turns out that they were, but only for a very brief moment. These two decided to give their love a try back in the early 2000s, but they weren't compatible at all, and they only lasted about one date before pulling the plug on whatever fling was going on between them. The pair met back in February 2002 at the Grammy Awards and reportedly hit it off after that first encounter. They went on a date shortly afterwards, but as Matthew would later admit years later, things just fizzled out after that one date. They decided that they would just be friends, and that's where they left things. Both went on to have other relationships and never looked back, but it still makes for a very interesting secret celebrity hookup. At number 6, Cord Overstreet and Emma Watson. Now, there's not much information on this relationship because it was kept so private, but there's word that Cord Overstreet and Emma Watson were an item for a little while back in 2018. In early 2018, it was rumored that Cord and Emma were seeing each other, but when this news broke, their relationship was still fairly new and there wasn't much to say about it other than rumors and speculation. They were first spotted together at a concert in February of 2018, and then later at an Oscars viewing party the following month. Not long after the news of their apparent relationship broke, they were seen again holding hands, and this sort of sealed the deal for most people, though again, nothing was really confirmed. But then things seem to have just fizzled out and died as the reports came out saying that the two had broken up after 6 months of dating. Less than a month after that, they were seen together again, and there was speculation that they had gotten back together, but again, nothing was ever confirmed. Emma is known to try and keep her private life private, so that could be the reason why this relationship mostly flew under the radar, but it's still something surprising to note. At number 5, Rihanna and Ashton Kutcher. Here's the tea on this fling, so get your mugs ready. Apparently, Rihanna and Ashton had a little entanglement back in 2012 as the singer was spotted leaving the actor's house in the early hours of the morning back in March of that year. Sources suggested that the two had reportedly had a one-night stand, noting that the singer had arrived at the house around midnight that night and left around 4 a.m. This spotting of sorts confirmed some people's speculation that there was something going on between the two of them because this wasn't the first time they were seen getting close to one another. According to one source, they had been flirting with each other, texting, and meeting up in hotels. Other sources said that at the time, they were just two single people having fun and saying, quote, both of them love having a good time and think they're too busy for anything serious just yet. There was no definite end to this fling, and since it wasn't anything serious, it doesn't really matter, but it's still interesting to find out that these two Hollywood stars were so close at one point. At number 4 is Sharon Osbourne and Jay Leno. When you picture Sharon Osbourne, you can't really see her without her other half, Ozzy, but there was once a time before Ozzy came along and you won't believe who she dated. In 2013, Sharon admitted to having a quote, flingy-wingy with Jay Leno. Sharon revealed on an episode of The Talk that when she was 25, before she started seeing Ozzy, she had moved to America and was working at a place that was quote, full of men. One day she met a man who turned out to be Jay Leno, and Sharon and her friend decided to prank call him one evening. Well, this prank call ended up turning into a full-blown conversation and then a little bit more. Elaborating on the situation, Sharon said, quote, he came to my house and he met me and he had a little fling. And the fling was more a fling for me and not a fling enough for him. Because a couple months into it, he brought around his real love of his life for me to meet, and she was lovely, and they took me to Fatburger and they showed me around town. It was brief and Sharon went on to marry Ozzy anyway, but it's so fun to learn that these two celebrities had a fling. At number 3, Lea Michele and Matthew Morrison. TV and Broadway actress Lea Michele was known for having had a serious relationship with the late Corey Monteith, but it seems as though Corey wasn't the only Glee star that she was in a relationship with. In Lea's 2014 book, Brunette Ambition, she wrote about her experience on Glee, shooting the show's pilot, and revealing that before meeting the rest of the cast, she had already worked with Jenna Urshiewicz and Matthew Morrison on Broadway. And saying, quote, Matt had been a friend of mine for years, and in fact, we'd actually dated back in the day for a Broadway beat. During the filming of Glee, there were apparently some rumors saying that she and Matthew were getting a little romantic because they were so close, but she shut down those rumors saying that there was nothing romantic between them and that they were just friends. There isn't really much information as to how long they dated and what made them end things. All we know is that it was very brief, so I guess you can just draw your own conclusions. At number 2, Johnny Depp and Jennifer Grey. All people can talk about in regards to Johnny Depp these days is his awful experience with Amber Heard and the drama surrounding that, but Amber obviously isn't the only one Johnny has been with. Johnny has also been linked to Vanessa Paradis, with whom he has 2 kids, and he was also married to Lori Ann Allison back in the 80s, and there are a number of other celebrities he's dated, but there's another star that the actor dated that not everyone knows about. Johnny Depp had a pretty serious relationship with actress Jennifer Grey back in the day. The 2 Hollywood stars only dated for about a year, but things were serious enough for Johnny to propose to Jennifer in 1989. They were set to get married the following year, but clearly that never happened. They really kept their relationship super secret, so there aren't many details about their fling other than the fact that it happened, but it's still something that not many people know about. I wonder what happened between them. And finally, at number 1, Tom Cruise and Cher. This next celebrity fling surprised me the most, so let me know if this one caught you by surprise as well. Back in the 80s, Tom Cruise and Cher were an item. I had no clue that they were ever together, but apparently it's true. Apparently Tom and Cher first met at Madonna and Sean Penn's wedding, and they sort of hit it off. Though there was a 16-year age gap between them, that didn't stop them from having a little fling. Cher reportedly told James Corden that Tom was one of her top 5 lovers, so clearly things were pretty good between them, right? The singer also told Oprah Winfrey that Tom could have been a, quote, great big romance if they hadn't been forced to break things off due to their busy schedules. They're apparently still pretty good friends, and part of me wishes that I could have seen this romance between them because it sounds like it was something incredible. At number 10, Jessica Simpson. I'm not one for cheating. I am a very faithful person and a very honest person, but I also know that if you were to cheat on your partner, you might want to try hiding it better than Jessica Simpson did in the mid-2000s. Paparazzi exposed Jessica for allegedly cheating on her then husband Nick Lachey when they photographed the singer leaving the Chateau Marmont hotel. See, upon hearing that, you think, I don't know, maybe she just had a wild night and she needed to crash the hotel, or maybe she was visiting a friend, or anything else. She was known as the industry's goody two-shoes girl, so no one would have expected an alleged affair being the reason for her stay at the hotel. The evidence supports that. How about the fact that when she was photographed leaving the hotel, she was seen wearing Adam Levine's shirt? Not too long ago, Jessica came out and admitted to her extramarital affairs during this time, so maybe she was really there with the Maroon 5 frontrunner. At number 9, John Mayer and Jessica Simpson. Speaking of Jessica Simpson, she seems to have a reputation for having her relationships exposed by paparazzi. Photographers caught John Mayer and Jessica Simpson while on vacation in Cabo, and when they captured the photos of the couple, they had no clue that they had actually witnessed the exact moment that their relationship ended. Apparently, their relationship had been rocky for a while, so I'm guessing that this is why photographers were following the couple so intently looking for a scoop. I doubt they were expecting to strike gold with this picture. As they snapped the photo and released it to the public, news of their breakup broke, but it doesn't seem like John and Jessica had even the slightest chance of keeping their breakup under wraps. I still can't believe that it was actually confirmed that their relationship officially ended seconds before these pictures were taken. That's insane. Before we carry on talking about these juicy celebrity hookups, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin. When fans are really invested in a couple, they will do anything to get the latest relationship gossip. Same goes for when a celebrity calls it quits. For the next few weeks after their breakup announcement, paparazzi will be everywhere trying to catch a glimpse of those people trying to look for a scoop. Well, this is exactly what happened with Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin. In June of 2019, Dakota and Chris announced that they had broken up after 2 years together. Obviously, having been together for so long, their split was big news, and the paps just had to get in on the scoop. Well, it wasn't until a few months later when photographers spotted the two having a day together at the beach. They snapped some photos and broke the news that the two were not split up as everyone had thought. The fires of love had reignited, and the paparazzi were the ones to expose the truth. At number 7, Kristen Stewart and Rupert Sanders. At the time, this incident was big news. When paparazzi snapped photos of Kristen Stewart and director Rupert Sanders in an affair, the news blew up. Paparazzi exposed their secret relationship, and honestly, it's stuck with Kristen till this day. When you ask people why they hate Kristen, the overwhelming answer is because of her cheating scandal. The exposure was enough to end both Sanders and Stewart's relationships with their partners. The whole thing went down while filming Snow White and the Huntsman, so I guess as Twilight came to a close, so too did the coveted relationship between Bella and Edward. This scandal was probably one of the best examples of paparazzi blowing the doors of a story. At number 6, Rihanna and Ashton Kutcher. Here's the tea on this fling, so get your mugs ready. Apparently, Rihanna and Ashton had a little entanglement back in 2012 as she was spotted leaving the actor's house in the early hours of the morning back in March of that year. Sources suggested that the two had reportedly had a one-night stand, noting that the singer had arrived around midnight that night and left around 2 a.m. This spotting sort of confirmed some people's speculation that there was something going on between the two of them because this wasn't the first time they were seen getting close to one another. According to one source, they had been flirting and texting with each other and meeting up at hotels. Other sources said that at the time they were just two single people having fun and saying, quote, "Both of them love a good time and I think they're just too busy for anything serious just yet." End quote. There was no definite end to this fling, and since it wasn't anything serious, it doesn't really matter, but it's still interesting to find out that these two Hollywood stars were so close at one point. At number 5, Ashley Olsen and Lance Armstrong. Here's a juicy little story about forbidden love. Well, not really, but it's still a little spicy. You see, actress and fashion designer Ashley Olsen and former professional cyclist Lance Armstrong had a bit of a fling in 2007, and very few people were on board with it. They started seeing each other a few weeks after Lance broke up with fashion designer Tory Burch, and sources say that Ashley and Lance were infatuated with each other. The two were spotted on a date at the Rose Bar in Gramercy Park Hotel, and they were seen macking on each other, then later leaving together in the early hours of the morning. Because there was a 15-year age gap, the people closest to Lance advised the cyclist to stop seeing Ashley over fears that this relationship and the large age difference would ruin his career. Lance tried to fight off his infatuation for Ashley, but things just ended up fizzling out a couple months later. At number 4, Kim Kardashian and Nick Lachey. Did you know that Kim Kardashian and Nick Lachey dated? Back in 2006, after splitting from his ex Jessica Simpson, Nick had his rebound game on with Kim K, who at the time was still a nobody in terms of fame. In an interview, Nick shared some details about his relationship with Kim Kardashian, where he claimed that Kim used him for fame because at this time, she was only known as Paris Hilton's assistant. During the interview, Nick said, quote, "Let's just say this. We went to a movie, no one followed us there. Somehow, mysteriously, when we left, there were 30 photographers waiting outside. There are certain ways to play this game, and some people play it well." End quote. In a way, Kim admitted that being linked to Nick worked well in terms of getting her notoriety, as she wrote in her 2010 book, Kardashian Confidential, that after dating Nick, paparazzi started calling out her name when she was out. At number 3, Scarlett Johansson and Justin Timberlake. It is rumored that Scarlett Johansson and Justin Timberlake have gotten pretty close in the past and have hooked up in secret on a few occasions. Their secret relationship of sorts reportedly began after they worked together for Justin's music video, What Goes Around Comes Around, where Scarlett played Justin's love interest. Sources have said that the pair got very close to each other back in 2011 while Justin was dating Jessica Biel. Some sources say that after having a wild night out of town, party hopping in New York, Justin was spotted heading straight for Scarlett's apartment. Now again, nothing is confirmed, but nothing's denied either, so what do you guys think? At number 2, Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. Apparently, there was a spicy relationship blooming between Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock back in 2011. Reports said that they had enjoyed a quote-unquote close friendship for about a decade, and that they also reportedly enjoyed some secret holidays with each other as well. This all started happening after the release of their movie Proposal. They never really tried to hide their connection to one another, but they didn't really confirm anything either. They kind of just existed. The two of them apparently spent most of their time at Sandra's estate, and they were even photographed kissing on New Year's Eve. Their publicists at the time tried to convince the public that their relationship was, quote, strictly platonic, but I don't know guys, I think we really know what was going on there. And finally, at number 1, Harry Styles. When Harry Styles was still a rising star in the X Factor, he had his first celebrity hookup. Though it may have been fun in the beginning, it ultimately led Harry to being in his very first scandal, again, quite early on in his career. He bounced back from it completely, but at the time, this sneaky link was big news. Back when Harry was on the X Factor, he developed a crush on the show's presenter, Caroline Flack. Caroline wrote about this little crush in her autobiography, Storm in a C Cup, where she revealed that Harry's crush on her was no secret, saying, quote, "I already knew that he had a crush on me, he made it pretty obvious. He'd said it in magazines and he'd said it to friends." end quote. Ultimately, they started dating when Harry was 17 and Caroline was 31. All was well with them until suddenly things got complicated. One day, paparazzi captured images of Harry leaving Caroline's house and a scandal began. Caroline shared her thoughts on what happened next in her book, writing, quote, "It began to go wrong when Harry was pictured coming out of my house one morning, and once that was out, it was open season. After that, anyone could say anything. In the street, people were shouting at me," end quote. Things got so bad that Caroline even started receiving threats from One Direction fans, ultimately ending her relationship with Harry.
First up, Rihanna. If you can believe it, Rihanna and Shia went on a date back in the early 2000s. Apparently, Rihanna was the one that contacted him and asked for the date. When Shia saw it, he said, quote, "I was filming a sword fight when I got the message. I said, can this be my life?" But their relationship did not turn into anything serious, and it fizzled out after the first date. He added, quote, "It never got beyond one date. The spark wasn't there, we weren't passionate about each other in that way, so we remain friends." Next up, Amber Tamblyn. Amber Tamblyn and Shia LaBeouf first got together back in 2005 and made their red carpet appearance at the movie premiere for Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants together. The pair never actually confirmed their relationships, but they were photographed getting cozy a number of times, so it was clear they were dating in some capacity. We're not sure when things ended, but a few months after they were spotted together, the pair were no longer seen out anymore, so it was clear the short relationship ended. Megan Fox. These two started dating after they starred alongside each other in the Transformers franchise, so we can assume they started dating sometime in 2007, which is about when the first movie was released. Although the pair were very tight-lipped in the relationship back when it was happening, they spoke about it years later. Megan Fox officially confirmed the relationship during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live back in 2018, saying, quote, "I mean, I would confirm that it was romantic. I love him. I've never really been quiet about that. I love him." LaBeouf also commented on their fling in 2011, saying, quote, "Look, you're on the set for 6 months with someone who's rooting to be attracted to you, and you're rooting to be attracted to them. I never understood the separation of work and life in that situation, but the time I spent with Megan was our own thing." We aren't sure why they broke up, but it was rumored that Shia had a fling with another one of his Transformers co-stars, so clearly the relationship he had with Megan was not serious. Carey Mulligan. These two presumably started dating after they acted alongside each other in the movie Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps together. The couple dated for about a year before they called it quits in 2010, and they were head over heels about each other, although they kept it on the down low in interviews with limited PDA while out together. In March of 2010, Shia gushed about his relationship with Mulligan. He said, quote, "I never had anything in my life that was off limits, but with this, just out of respect, I just don't want to mess around." Adding, quote, "Neither one of us are fame whores, it works out." The pair broke up that October, and he spoke with Details magazine about the split. He said, quote, "I still love her. I think she's an awesome person and an incredible actress. We're still pals. I wouldn't take any of it back, and I don't think she would either. It just ran its course." In a later interview, he revealed the issue between them two was their varying level of commitment. Mulligan wanted a marriage with kids, while Shia did not. Mulligan then went on to marry Marcus Mumford from the band Mumford & Sons. Carolyn Faux. Shia started dating Los Angeles-based stylist Carolyn Faux in 2010. The couple was pretty serious, and they dated for 2 years before splitting. They broke up after LaBeouf filmed the movie Nymphomaniac with co-star Mia Goth. This could mean there was some infidelity here, as Shia and Goth got together shortly after that. Faux later revealed her tumultuous relationship with LaBeouf, adding that it got violent at some points. She told the New York Times that one time, quote, "he drunkenly pinned her to a bed and headbutted her, enough that she bled." With the recent allegations against him, it shows that clearly these actions are a pattern of behavior. Mia Goth. Following his split with Faux, LaBeouf dated Nymphomaniac co-star Mia Goth, on and off for a few years. The pair actually got married in 2016 in Vegas, but later his team confirmed that it was not a real relationship, rather a commitment ceremony. However, that was clearly not true, because they filed for divorce in September of 2018. After their split, a source close to Goth revealed, quote, "It was a very crazy relationship and he is very fiery. She's told her friends that she can't take it anymore. When he was preparing for a part, Mia would keep away from him and move out because his rehearsals were so intense." But the story with these two is not over, and it was rumored that they were back together in 2020 as they were seen out together on a number of occasions. But they were off once again in 2020 when LaBeouf started dating actress Margaret Qualley. However, that relationship was short-lived, and it after another one of LaBeouf's ex-girlfriends, FK Twigs, accused him of harmful conduct. I will get into both of these ladies in a moment, but rumors are swirling that Mia Goth and Shia might now be engaged, now that Goth is expecting a child. We assume that child is Shia's, as they have been spotted out together while she's been pregnant, although neither party has confirmed if they are officially back together. Talia Barnett / FKA Twigs. Talia Barnett, whose stage name is FKA Twigs, Twigs, began dating LaBeouf after his split from Goth in 2018. They met on the set of Honey Boy, but the pair did not become official until after the movie was finished. The couple was together for less than a year, and the world was shocked when Barnett filed a lawsuit against LaBeouf after their split, citing physical and emotional distress because of his actions. The suit includes many strange and disturbing claims. Barnett has accused LaBeouf of harmful sexual conduct, along with knowingly giving her an STD. Barnett said about the relationship, quote, "What I went through with Shia was the worst thing I've ever been through in my whole life. I don't think people would ever think it would happen to me, but I think that's the thing. It can happen to anybody." LaBeouf commented on the lawsuit, saying, quote, "I'm not in any position to tell anyone how my behavior made them feel. I have no excuses for my alcoholism or aggression, only rationalizations. I've been harmful to myself and everyone around me for years." Adding, quote, "I have a history of hurting the people closest to me. I'm ashamed of that history and I'm sorry to those I hurt. There's nothing else I can really say." In February of 2021, FKA Twigs told Elle that it's, quote, "a miracle that I came out alive." She then spoke of some more incidents with LaBeouf. Once the pair were driving together and he started speeding and driving erratically. At the time, Barnett was preparing for a fatal crash, but thankfully that did not happen. She said that luck was the reason she survived their relationship. As of now, the pair are trying to work out their legal matter out of court, but she is preparing to take him to court if their mediations aren't successful. Margaret Qualley. In September of 2021, Margaret Qualley and LaBeouf's brief relationship ended after the allegations from FKA Twigs came out. The pair were first linked after they filmed Love Me Like You Hate Me together in the early fall. A source said at the time, quote, "They are not dating, but have fun together. Margaret is a social butterfly and has a big group of friends. She doesn't really bring Shia around this group though. She's not interested in having a boyfriend." They were spotted out holding hands on many occasions, but the relationship quickly ended after news broke of the lawsuit. One source told People that Qualley was aware of the backlash she received for seeing LaBeouf amid the lawsuit, and she didn't want to deal with it anymore. The source added that Margaret is now focusing on her work. Shia revealed her hookup with Shia LaBeouf after FKA Twigs filed her lawsuit against him. In the midst of the drama, Shia went to share with the public her negative experiences with the actor. Shia revealed that her and LaBeouf actually dated the same time he dated FKA Twigs, and he encouraged the adultery. LaBeouf and Shia first met when he appeared in the 2015 music video for Shia's track Elastic Heart alongside dancer Maddie Ziegler. Following the lawsuit, Shia tweeted, quote, "I too have been hurt emotionally by Shia, a pathological liar, who conned me into an adulterous relationship claiming to be single. I believe he's very sick and have compassion for him and his victims. Just know if you love yourself, stay safe, stay away." In a second tweet, Shia added, quote, "Also, I love you FKA Twigs. This is very courageous and I'm very proud of you." Shia later told the Sunday Times, quote, "It turns out he was using the same lines on me and Twigsy, and eventually we found out because we ended up talking to one another. Both of us thought we were singly dating him, but that wasn't the case, and he was still married."
At number 8, Caroline Flack. When Harry Styles was still a rising star on the X Factor, he had his first celebrity hookup. Though it may have been fun in the beginning, it also ultimately led to Harry being in his first scandal. Again, quite early on in his career. He completely bounced back from it, but at the time, this sneaky link was big news. Back when Harry was on the X Factor, he developed a crush on the show's presenter, Caroline Flack. Caroline wrote about this little crush in her autobiography, Storm in a Sea Cup, where she revealed that Harry's crush on her was no secret, saying, quote, "I already knew that he had a crush on me. He made it pretty obvious. He said it in magazines, and he said it to his friends." End quote. Ultimately, they started dating when Harry was 17 and Caroline was 31. All was well with them until suddenly things got complicated. One day, paparazzi captured images of Harry leaving Caroline's house and a scandal began. Caroline shared her thoughts on what happened next in her book, writing, quote, "It began to go wrong when Harry was pictured coming out of my house one morning. And once that was out, it was open season. After that, anyone could say anything. In the street, people started shouting at me." End quote. Things got so bad that Caroline even started receiving threats from One Direction fans, ultimately ending her relationship with Harry. At number 7, Taylor Swift. Now this next one I'm sure you are familiar with because there was so much drama going on between fan bases it was hard to miss. For a brief time between 2012 and 2013, Harry Styles and Taylor Swift were a couple. We don't really know that much about their relationship because it was kept so private, but there are images captured by paparazzi that confirm that they were together. The most information we have about their time together came after their breakup though, because this is where the drama began, but in song form of course. It is believed that there is somewhere between 4 and 6 songs about this relationship released by both Harry and Taylor. Many fans believe that the songs Style, Out of the Woods, I Knew You Were Trouble, and I Wish You Would, all by Taylor Swift, are about Harry in some way or another. Fans think that the release of these songs is what prompted Harry to release a few songs of his own about Taylor. It is thought that the songs Perfect and Two Ghosts are about Taylor Swift. Though not much is known about their time together, fans did get a handful of bangers out of this little entanglement. Before we carry on talking about the juicy hookups that Harry Styles had, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 6, Nicole Scherzinger. Now this next hookup doesn't have much information to it, but it's pretty juicy, and it's one celebrity hookup that I never knew about, so I had to include it on this list. Back in 2013, the Sun publication reported that Harry Styles had allegedly hooked up with Pussycat Dolls singer Nicole Scherzinger. Nicole was a judge on the X Factor back when Harry was on the show back in 2010, and so that's where people think things started between the two. When this alleged hookup happened, Harry was 19 while Nicole was 35. Fans thought that this age gap between the two performers was a little strange, while others didn't really see much issue with it since they were both adults. What's your take on this age gap? Is it weird or perfectly fine? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. At number 5, Georgia Fowler. After a handful of other relationships and hookups, Harry Styles moved on to having a relatively short-lived relationship with New Zealand-based model Georgia Fowler back in 2015. Fans found out about their little fling when Georgia posted a video of the two of them playing Scrabble on her Snapchat.
No, that's where I need to go.
Though their time together was brief, fans have suspected that Harry's song Kiwi is about Georgia because Kiwi is a common nickname for people from New Zealand. This suspicion has never been confirmed, and when asked about the song, Georgia has expressed confusion as to why people have associated her with the song, as she said in an interview, quote, "Really don't know anything about it. Definitely don't have a baby. That's what the song is about." End quote. What do you guys think? Could the song be about her? At number 4, Kendall Jenner. This next relationship slash hookup is a little complicated because they were kind of on and off. Kendall Jenner and Harry Styles had a brief relationship back in 2013 when they were spotted having dinner together in LA in November of that year. The couple ended up splitting up a few months later in February 2014, but the following year in 2015, they sparked up their relationship once again after they were spotted spending New Year's together on a yacht. About a week after the couple was spotted together, fan suspicions were confirmed by Kendall's sister Chloe when she told Entertainment Weekly that Kendall and Harry were in fact dating, saying, quote, "Do I think they're dating? Yes. I don't know if they're like boyfriend-girlfriend. Nowadays, I don't know. People are weird with stuff. So I don't know their title." End quote. Not much was seen of the couple after that until they were spotted again a few months later in April 2016 when the pair were seen shopping together in LA. This, however, came about during a time when Kendall was also rumored to be dating Lakers player Jordan Clarkson. After that, things went dark again until October 2016 when they were spotted together one last time while having dinner. Fans thought that this might have been their next attempt at having a relationship, though nothing was ever confirmed. At number 3, Camille Rowe. One of Harry Styles' more recent relationships was with Victoria's Secret model Camille Rowe a couple years back from 2017 to 2018. Fans were quick to catch on to this relationship as some of the most invested fans noticed Harry's voice in the background of one of Camille's Instagram stories. This relationship seemed to be a little more serious than ones in the past, as it was said that Harry introduced Camille to his family. They were also seen being cute out in public as Harry was spotted carrying Camille's purse. Unfortunately though, Harry and Camille ended up breaking up after about a year together. Even though their relationship ended, they still seemed pretty close, as they were spotted by one of Harry's fans having lunch together in LA, giving the fan base a little hope that the couple would be getting back together. Unfortunately for the fans though, that never ended up happening. At number 2, Kiko Mizuhara. Now this next one is more rumor and speculation than anything else, but fans were convinced that Harry Styles had some kind of relationship with Kiko Mizuhara. In early 2019, a rumor started going around suggesting that Harry Styles was dating actress, model, and singer Kiko Mizuhara. When this rumor eventually circled back to Kiko, she tried to shut it down. Kiko took to Twitter to try and tell her fans that there was nothing going on between her and Harry when she said, quote, "It's been reported that Harry Styles and I have been in a relationship, but I have no relationship with him and have never met him. The world is full of fake news. People believe what they want to believe rather than questioning reality." End quote. Despite this tweet, however, fans debunked Kiko's statement as her cover was blown about a month after making that tweet. Kiko was spotted at Harry's 25th birthday party in Tokyo, and there's even video evidence to back it all up. They weren't seen getting too close, but fans were still convinced that there was something going on between the two celebrities. And finally, at number 1, Olivia Wilde. This is Harry's current relationship, and it seems to be going pretty well so far. Rumors of the relationship started back in late 2020 as it got closer while working on Olivia's film Don't Worry Darling after Harry got the part that Shia LaBeouf was fired from. The couple officially confirmed their relationship in early 2021, and those close to them have said that they are going strong. On the topic of their relationship, sources have said, quote, "They have gotten serious quickly and have an intense connection," end quote. Olivia and Harry have been spending a lot of time together. Olivia has been spotted at many of Harry's concerts, dancing and showing support for her man, and they've even been seen traveling together. Over the summer last year, Harry and Olivia were seen vacationing together in southern Italy, and it's also been reported that the couple is renting a house together. Things seem to be going quite well with them, so I hope things continue on a positive path for them.
And at number 10, Sofia Bevarly. Sofia Bevarly is one of Dan Bilzerian's most famous relationships because he says it was his first monogamous relationship ever. They started dating when she was 21 and he was 37 in 2017. They have a 16-year age gap. The couple met at a pool party, and even though Dan hooked up with multiple other girls while at this party, he claimed it was love at first sight, and she was different from these other girls. While speaking with Square Mile about the relationship, he admitted that he had girlfriends before, but these were open relationships, and he was still able to sleep with other women. But with Sofia, he didn't mind things being monogamous. He said about the relationship, quote, "We just started hanging out. She's just a little different, you know? She's smart, she's cool, and she likes a lot of the stuff I like, so here we are." After his breakup, he claimed his taste in women changed a lot, and his standards for who he would pursue went way up. And at number 9, Haley Grice. In July of 2020, Dan Bilzerian was rumored to have dated Instagram model Haley Grice. Neither one of them confirmed that the relationship was official, but from their social media activity it's clear that they saw each other for a long time. It looked like the couple also social distanced together, which obviously would form a close bond. Dan posted a couple of photos with Grice from his home in Bel Air during the period where LA was not allowed to go outside. He also shared that she was helping him write his autobiography while they had some time off from traveling and living his usual lifestyle. On April 6th, he shared a photo sitting on a sofa and typing something on his laptop while Grice sat beside him. He wrote, quote, "Writing my book," in the caption. Months later, he confirmed that he finished this book, and she was also featured in that photo, making clear that Grice was a mainstay in his life. Nothing more can really be said unless the pair confirm they are together or have broken up. And at number 8, Morgan Hultgren. Swedish Instagram model Morgan Hultgren has been linked to Bilzerian in the past, and it's been rumored that they were once officially dating. Even though the pair haven't announced publicly being in a relationship, lots of online tabloids mention they were an item. Morgan was born in Sweden and decided to move to the United States to pursue a career as a full-time model. After being linked with Dan, her career got a significant bump. When speaking about the potential romance between her and Bilzerian, she once said, quote, "What pisses me off is the fact that because I've dated someone in the public eye who's openly promiscuous and provocative, that I in turn must be the same way. I must have low standards and low self-esteem and little respect for myself, and it's the exact opposite." And at number 7, Katie Bell. Katie Bell and Dan dated back in 2018. The way they met is most likely the way that Dan meets a lot of women. Belle DM'd him some photos of herself after finding out who he was, and the next day they started talking and an instant attraction sparked. Only a few days later, he said he would fly her out to LA so they could meet in person. Apparently she took some time to decide if that's what she wanted to do, but after a few days they agreed he would send a private jet to Tampa to pick her up and bring her to him in LA. They started dating soon after, and by late September of 2018, Belle had already appeared in a bunch of Dan's social media posts, and she started gaining tons of followers on Instagram. The pair were together for about a year, but from what we have heard from Dan, this relationship was not monogamous, and he was sleeping with other people during their relationship. The pair split in the fall of 2019 and have stayed on good terms. She often thanks him for making her famous. And at number 6, Desiree Schultz. Desiree Schultz is a model based in LA, and they first started seeing each other in June of 2019. It seems there may have been some overlap with Desiree and Dan's last fling with Katie Bell. The pair were spotted on his Instagram many times over the course of their relationship. They even went on a trip to Thailand together in September of 2019. After Desiree and Dan broke up, she moved on to Love Island contestant Joe Garrett, although that couple broke up in April of 2021. A source said about their split, quote, "Over lockdown, Joe went to America to be with Desiree and was there a few months, and then went to Dubai together again for a couple months. But Joe had to return back to the UK for work and Desiree to America for work, and just being a long distance relationship wasn't going to work out." Adding, quote, "It's amicable and they're going to stay friends." At number 5, Lady Amelia. Dan and Cuban Instagram model Lady Amelia had a fling in summer of 2019. We have gotten very little details on the extent of their relationship, but it's clear they had a fling for at least a few months. In July of 2019, Dan and Amelia, along with some other girls, went on a European tour. It's clear that Amelia was special because Dan posted a photo of Amelia with her on his lap. She then posted this same photo and captioned the image on her page, quote, "My king." In many of her posts from that trip, she hinted that she and Dan were in a relationship. She is currently signed to Next Models and is furthering her model career, and it seems that her and Dan are on good terms since the split. And at number 4, Hannah Palmer. Dan and Hannah Palmer were rumored to have dated sometime in 2018. Dan rarely parties with the same girls twice, so when Hannah was seen partying with Dan multiple times, it was clear that she was someone special to him. In September of 2018, Dan shared their photos from what looked like their getaway on Instagram. Palmer was born in Arizona and went to university there, along with attending beauty school. This is where she fell in love with fashion and modeling. She decided to launch her career on social media, and she posted tons of photos of herself on Instagram. After gaining some traction, she entered a competition to be Maxim's next cover girl, finishing 34th overall. This is around the time she caught the attention of Dan. Since then, she's gone on to model for huge brands like Fashion Nova. And at number 3, Suelyn Medeiros. Suelyn Medeiros and Dan Bilzerian dated around 2018. Neither party has confirmed when exactly they started hanging out or when it ended, but they appeared together several times by the middle of the year, so it was clear they were seeing each other in some capacity. They went on a special trip to Armenia together while they were dating. This was special because Dan has Armenian heritage. Medeiros was also spotted hanging out with Dan and a group of other girls in Thailand later that year. She was born in New York, but grew up in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. She later moved back to the States to pursue her dreams of becoming a model. Other than her relationship with Dan, she's been linked to other celebrities like Canadian businessman Joe Salvatore and singer Chris Brown. Her and Chris were spotted in a hotel room cozying up together, which sparked the rumors of their relationship. And at number 2, Lauren Blake. Lauren Blake was rumored to be dating Bilzerian in the summer of 2016. Blake is an Instagram model, and we assume they met online. The dating rumor started after the pair were snapped out vacationing at a few tropical destinations. They had been seen out in Miami, Milan, and Prague. Following his usual pattern, the two only dated for a few months before splitting. When Lauren was young, she decided to pursue a career in the sciences. She studied biochemistry in college and also spent 8 years working in hospitals and medical facilities to become more familiar with the field. Although she chose this path, she had always wanted to be a model, but never thought to pursue it. As she got older, it became clear she could model as a career, and that's when she decided to take it seriously. This is also when she met Dan. And finally, number 1, Lindsay Pellas. Lindsay Pellas is one of many girls that Dan has hooked up with over the years. It doesn't look like the pair ever officially dated, but rather they partied a few nights together. Dan is known for his wild lifestyle of drinking, partying, and being surrounded by beautiful women. The people who surround Dan usually wonder if it's true or if that lifestyle is all for show. Lindsay Pellas went on the Hollywood Raw podcast to set the record straight about his life, confirming that what we see on Instagram is 100% true. When asked about the huge parties with crowds of women, the model said, quote, "Absolutely, it's all real, which is crazy, 100%. Adding, quote, "It was so interesting to me that the first time we met, I actually came home and I wrote the entire story down. Like I had 10 pages of when I met Dan Bilzerian, because it was the wildest night." She went on to describe how they met on Halloween night at the Playboy Mansion. She said that a security guard came up to her and asked if she wanted to meet Dan Bilzerian. She said yes, and when she went over to him, he immediately complimented her on her physique. She then remembered going back to his place, and she could not believe the insane amount of wealth that he had. Adding, quote, "But the whole thing was real, he is the real deal."